Carmel Sepulon.
Kia ora, Mr Chair. Mr Chair, I'm going to try and use as much Māori language in this speech as possible, given it's Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori. I did just ask my colleague Penny Henare how to say vanity project in Māori, but he said that there's no such word as vain in Māoridom because there's no vanity in Māoridom. I take that on board. Mr Chair, but what there is a translation for in Māori is no ears, which is tāringa kore. And that is their government, Mr Chair. They haven't been listening. They haven't been listening to the public. They've been ignoring the fact that Kiwis don't want to change the flag. 70% of Kiwis said they don't want to change the flag. And that government's saying we're giving them an option. If they were really, truly interested in giving them an option, then the first question would be, do you want to change the flag? But no, we have Maggie Barry standing up in the House and saying that would just be too confusing for New Zealanders. Surely they won't understand it if we ask them first, do you want to change the flag? I think Maggie Barry and the national government underestimate New Zealanders, actually, and I wonder what's going to happen when we look at, see, the commencement part of this bill, so part 2, where it says, if in the second flag referendum the current New Zealand flag gains a greater number of votes than the alternative flag design in section 69, 70 and 71 do not commence. Don't they think that there's going to be a lot of New Zealanders out there going, well, what was the point of spending that other $6.8 million? There's going to be a lot of New Zealanders going, okay, you dumped the whole thing now, you wasted not only our time, but you wasted our good taxpayer dollars on 2 referendums when that was completely unnecessary. Mr Chair, looking at the purpose of this bill, we see that there are going to be 2 postal referendums to be held to enable electors to decide whether New Zealand should have a new flag. Well, if that was the case, then actually the first referendum would be, do you want a new flag? It's very clear. So actually I think they're going to have to revisit this purpose, because if that really was the purpose, the first question would be, do you want to change the flag? Mr Chair, we've seen that there has been a lack of interest from the general public with respect to this issue. No one's showing up to the meetings. I think we've got here just over 700 people turned up to public meetings on the flag consideration project. That cost $208,500 for venues and a further $200,000 for the panel members' fees to be there. New Zealanders are thinking, what a waste of our money, Mr Chair. The average cost per person who turned up was $550 each, or $2,300 each once advertising is included. I think there's a lot of New Zealanders out there thinking, just give us the cash rather than force us to show up to these really boring meetings for things that we're not interested in, or with the majority of people showing up to say, we don't want this to happen. And actually, the only way that that Prime Minister could get a good audience on this issue was to actually arrange to go to secondary schools where those students had no choice but to sit there in the hall and listen to him talk about the flag. And I know this because my own son texted me a few weeks ago and he said, Mum, guess who's at our school? John Key. I said, what's he there for? He said, to talk about the flag. To talk about the flag? A low decile school, you know, a room full of Māori and Pacific boys, so many more important things to talk to them about. Well, what's he there to talk to them about? The flag. Why was he there? It's the only way he could get a guaranteed audience.
That's right.
The only way he could get a guaranteed audience was to show up to schools. Mr Chair, they know on that side of the House that this is unpopular. They've seen the Herald poll. They would have done their own internal polling. New Zealanders are looking at them thinking, so many more serious issues to be considering, and you're concerned about the change in a flag. Now, as my colleague, the Honourable Trevor Mallard, has said, and a few of my other colleagues in the House today, it's not that we're all necessarily opposed to the changing of the flag, it's just that this is not the right time. Clearly, this is not the issue of the day for New Zealanders. No. There's a lot more on the minds of New Zealanders, and my New Zealand First colleague pointed this out. What's on the minds of New Zealanders? Housing. Yeah? That's right. What's on the minds of New Zealanders? The fact that our prisons are unsafe.
That's right.
Yeah? Yep. What's on the minds of New Zealanders? Poverty, and the fact that nothing the government has done anything to lift children out of poverty. What else is on the minds of New Zealanders? The failed charter schools, national government, who are failing to listen. So before I finish this speech, I just want to use some more te reo Māori. And I just want to say this is one of the many mistakes that the national government has done. So the word for that is hapamaha, which is multiple mistakes. Hapamaha, multiple mistakes. Can we say it together? Hapamaha.
I call Richard Prosser.